in all my life, I've never felt as worried about the entire welfare state as I do today. Some of these wet behind the ears ex-public schoolboys that we have in government had no real experience of life, are embarking, in my view, on what is an inevitable class war. They don't like to see working people have any sort of benefits, to be quite honest. And indeed, I suspect, looking at what's happened in America and the way that so many of them go over there and promise that to do their best to rid this country of a health service, and we've seen what's happened to education, not only with tuition fees but also with Gov's dumbing down again. Well, he calls it advances. The proof of the pudding will be in the eating, but it's a massive jump backwards in my experience. And as far as disability payments are concerned, housing benefits are concerned, on every front on the welfare state is under attack by this government, not because they have to be under attack, but because this government is the natural party of mass unemployment, has always been so. In every crisis of the last century, they were the government in office when we had the highest unemployment levels. They want to see workers back on the knees, and they want rid of the welfare state as we know it.
So to kill it off?
To kill it off entirely. And we can see the very people that they put in charge of education, the people that they put in charge of the health service, these people have never had to use the health service themselves. They have access to private medicine, and they don't want to have any form of their taxes being used to prop up the health service, even though they pay the minimum amounts now, most of them paying less than their secretaries.
Good point. Now, last thing, Brian, is this. Obviously, the 20th of October is a fantastic opportunity for people. We've got a TUC demonstration called for London. The chances are that we can get up to 1 million people out on the streets of London to tell this government we're taking it no more. But surprisingly in Doncaster, where Ed Miliband is one of our 3 Labour MPs, we don't seem to be hearing much of a rallying cry. I wonder if you could help him out, Brian, and tell the working classes why they need to be out on the streets of London on the 20th of October.
Well, sadly, I think that Ed Miliband and Ed Balls have both been lacking in their education. They seem to miss out on the entire history of the trade union movement, and indeed how the Labour Party was formed. So much so that every time they have the opportunity to score an open goal, they decline to even step up to take the penalty. These people have no real experience of life and seem to think that everything can be agreed with reasonable employers sat around, although they've never met any other kind of employers in their lives. For ordinary working people, if you've gone 3 years, as some of ours have, without a pay rise, it's quite obvious that they simply don't want to discuss around the table, with or without trade unions. You're simply not going to get it. I believe that there has been a sea change in what's happened over the years since the height of my career in the trade union movement. Yes, there's been some massive changes, but now people still want to fight, and they want the opportunity to show that they want to fight the imposition of all the cuts that are coming down the stream. But they have to have leadership, and they have to have some expression, an organisation which can help them give expression to that. People who are not in the trade union movement will be most certainly welcomed on the 20th of October. Pensioners will most certainly be welcomed on the 20th of October. Teachers, whether they're in or out of a union, will be welcome on the 20th of October, and indeed every other sector of working people, whether they're in a union or not, is certainly welcome. We need to show our solidarity right across the board. Disability people, anyone that's disabled needs to come and be on that, because again, that's another area that's under threat, as well as education, as well as the rest of the welfare state. We need everybody that we can get on that march on the 20th of October. And from then, for those people who I've already mentioned, who are not currently members, they may not even be in jobs. some of them will be unemployed. Unite have now opened up a section for members of the community to become part of the trade union movement. I hope that this opportunity is taken up by everybody that wants to join a trade union, and I hope that other trade unions open similar branches so that everybody can join the unions and get us back to the point where the majority of people, working people in this country, are members of the most important organisations that represent them, the trade union movement.